Hey, what up everybody? Welcome back to another Breachin, where I take a Filipino blanket, a waterproof Bible, and preach on the beach. Today we are at Obyan Beach here on the island of Saipan, where we are going to go to our beach house that we made and preach a special message for our partner church in Honduras. If you want to see us make our beach house and us do things at our beach house, there will be a playlist. You can click right here, or the link will be in the description below. As we mentioned, today's message is specifically for our Honduran partner church. If you want more information about the hurricane relief that Victoria and I are striving to help out as we march from the south part of Saipan all the way to the north, that video and some others links are also in the description below. All right, we are going to take our 10-minute hike to our beach hut. You check out this intro video. Hey, what up? We're Pastor Matty Ice.
And we love water.
Trees need water to grow.
You especially need to drink water when working outside.
And we like to preach the living water wherever we go.
So enjoy these videos of our beach house.
And if you want to go on an adventure with us,
hit that subscribe button
as we use our resources around the world. Hey, to all of our subscribers on the Pastor Matty Ice YouTube channel, welcome back to our beach house. To our friends at our partner church in Honduras, welcome to Saipan. We're so excited for this Breachin today. We got finished with our 10-minute walk down Obyan Beach, and it reminds us of the 15-mile walk that took us 6 hours. We started from the south, went all the way up north here on the island. We made a video about it to raise awareness for disaster relief in Honduras. That video has been seen a bunch on this island, Guam, around the world. It's been in multiple newspapers, and we're super excited with how God has been using that video to raise awareness for clean water projects and also disaster relief. Again, if you haven't seen that video and you want to see it, that link is in the description below. Watch it. Tell us what part of the island of Saipan you love and how you are making a difference where you are, because that's what we strive to do here on our channel, the Pastor Matty Ice channel, and that's what we all should be doing as Christians. So, we're gonna move this camera over to the front door of our beach house, and we'll give you a little bit more of this message today, which is about being stuck, or being rooted, or being firmly planted. So, let's move the camera. Here we are at our beach house at Obyan Beach on the island of Saipan. The sun is setting, the ocean is behind you, in front of me, the waves are coming in. Just a beautiful day for a Breachin. For those of you at our Honduras church, again, welcome to our beach house. We are currently making an entire playlist on our Pastor Matty Ice YouTube channel about our beach house, us making it, how to make a beach house, another Breachin devotional that Victoria and I do for our partners at General Baptist Bible College in Val City, Philippines. So if you want to see those videos as they come out, go to the Pastor Matty Ice channel, hit subscribe, and ring the bell so that you can be notified when all of those come out so you can see more of what we're talking about today. Also, it's Valentine's Day for you when you're watching this, so happy Love Day. And remember the love as we're talking about being stuck. All right, for our YouTube subscribers, you're seeing this a week or two later, so welcome. Again, if you haven't seen the videos about this beach house on YouTube, those links will be in the description below. Being stuck. What does that mean? Obviously, this beach house is stuck. It is in there, in the rocks. We talk about building our house on the rocks, not the sand. It's gonna be here. We started this in December, building the frame, and then once a week we built it, finishing it in mid-January. It's still here, it's still good. But we're gonna talk about how it's not really stuck. So think with me about a time that you've been stuck. Maybe you've been stuck physically, maybe you've been stuck emotionally, maybe you've been stuck spiritually. Where did that leave you? what does stuck look like? I want to tell a story. I've already talked about Victoria and I walking the entire island of Saipan. See, we want to make a difference with what we have, where we are. We want to make videos. We had planned on going somewhere for Christmas break. We had planned on going to Davao City to be with the people that we've been making chapel videos for all year. We've been planning on doing that over spring break. But of course, we're stuck. We're locked on our little 15 by 5 island. So how can we make a difference with what we have, where we are? So we walked the entire length of the island, and then we made a video for it and shared that video with different newspapers and news sources, and of course social media, and that video has been shared a bunch. And then we said, this is how we can make a difference for disaster relief in Honduras, where we are. Yes, we may be geographically stuck, but we don't want to be relationally stuck or emotionally and especially spiritually stuck. So relationally, we reach out to AJ and say, hey AJ, what can we do to help out? Yes, we are here. Yes, we are stuck, but how can we help you at this time? How can we make your life better and the lives of those people who you're ministering to? How can we make that life better? We don't want to be stuck. See, this beach house, this ironwood, was stuck. These branches were stuck to their trees after they fell down. They've just been sitting there. They were under vines, tangled up. We had to go through with the machete and with our pair of shears and cut it free, hacksaw these out, machete them, bring them, and put them here to give them a new purpose. What I want to do today is read from Luke chapter 15. I imagine automatically your brain starts going. You probably know this story. It's the story of the prodigal son, right? This son feels stuck where he is, and he runs away. And then he gets stuck in badness because he's away from the Father. And he's stuck, and then in Luke 15:17, he comes to his senses. A very powerful verse because he realized that his life stunk, literally. The taste was awful. I think about the Israelites, but they were being led there by God. They were complaining, but God was providing. He's complaining, and God's not providing. So he knows what he needs to do. He knows he needs to go back to the Father. But our Breachin today is not about the prodigal son. It's about the stuck son who's still there with the Father, working, slaving away. So we're going to start in Luke chapter 15, verse 25. So this is after Luke 15:17, where it says, but when he came to himself, or when he came to his senses, and he said, how many of my father's hired servants have more than enough bread, but I perish here in hunger. My father's servants are just living high on the hog, you know. The pun was intended because the pigs, that's who he's working with right now. They're living high and mighty. That's his servants. And I'm here slaving away, starving to death with stinky pigs, and I'm a Jew and I'm not supposed to touch these unclean animals. Like, he is stuck. So this is after that. The son comes home, the father rescues him, he throws a big party. So let's see what happens to the other son who had been there faithfully with his father the whole time. Let's look at verse 25. This is Luke chapter 15, verse 25. And now I read out of the English Standard Version, so if that's what you want to pull up at home, go to BibleGateway.com, read along with me in the English Standard Version, Luke chapter 15, verse 25 and following. It says, now his older son was in the field, and as he came and drew near to the house, he heard music and dancing. And he called one of the servants and asked what these things meant. Verse 27, and he said to him, your brother has come, and your father has killed the fatted calf, because he has received him back safe and sound. Verse 28. Now this is what being stuck spiritually, this is what being stuck emotionally, this is what being stuck relationally, physically, all those things. When you're stuck, this is what happens right here. But he was angry and refused to go in. His anger was him being stuck. And then he refused to go into the party. There is a party happening. Yes, we know this is a parable. And yes, we know that it represents the Son, us, coming back to our Father, God. But just think about this. Like in real life, this happens a lot. We're working, we're slaving away, we're working for our boss. We go to the boss and we realize what's happened, that some knucklehead who keeps being late and keeps being absent and keeps messing up, that he's getting a party, that he got a raise. What? What did we get? Like, I've been slaving away, and then our anger makes us stuck. And then we can no longer enjoy it. Now let's look at it spiritually. The other people are coming to Jesus. Other people are finding the Father, and we don't experience that celebration with them because we get stuck in our ways. We get stuck saying, no, it has to be this way, or what the brother said. Let's keep reading. Verse 28, but he was angry and refused to go in. His father came out and entreated him. Verse 29, but he answered his father, look, these many years I have served you. This is pride coming out here, folks. Look, these many years I have served you, and I never disobeyed your command. I followed all your rules. Yet you never gave me a young goat that I might celebrate with my friends. But when this son of yours, not my brother, which it was, but this son of yours, this little knucklehead, this little rascal, but when this son of yours came, who has devoured your property with prostitutes, you killed the fatted calf, not a goat, a fatted calf for him. And he said to him, son, you are always with me, and all that is mine is yours. It was fitting to celebrate and be glad, for this your brother was dead and is alive. He was lost, and now he's found. For your brother was dead. He was lost, and now he's found. You've been with me all along. You've been here, and all that I have is yours. What the Father is saying is you've never been stuck. If you're stuck, it's your fault. That's what he's saying to the brother there. He said, this whole time you could have asked, you had all the food that you wanted, I gave. It's not that the other brother squandered my property. You had all of my property. Well, all that I have is yours. Ask me. I mean, Jesus is very clear throughout the gospel that we need to ask in faith, passionately, for what it is that we want for his kingdom and for his glory. Yeah, we don't just go around saying, yeah, I want that, and oh, that car looks nice over there, and I want that nice house, or there has to be a reason for his glory, for his kingdom. The Father is saying to the older son that you're stuck because you stuck yourself. You're stuck because you've rooted. So this beach house is stuck here, and it's not going anywhere for a while. It's made of ironwood. The one corner in the back had a flimsy stick, so we put an even bigger stump almost, tied it to it. These vines are pretty good. Again, they're in the rocks. It's not like the beach house that we made before on Bird Island Beach that was sandy, and it still stayed for 9 months. This beach house here, little beach condo or whatever you want to call it, it's probably going to be here for a while. It took us a long time, 5 weeks. We came out here for 3 hours a day. You do the math. So 15 hours it took us of slinging a machete, and 30 hours really because both of us. Slinging the machete, cutting the vines, lugging these big heavy things here. And that's what a lot of us do on a daily basis with our pride, with our selfishness, with our anger, with our resentment towards others, that we hold these things. We spend hours and hours and hours thinking about how someone else has it better off, or how someone else got the fatted calf and we don't even get a goat. We spend hours resenting people. We spend hours on our pride saying, I'm not going to go in there. We spend hours on those, and we get stuck in our anger. And when there's an opportunity to celebrate, we don't do it. When there's an opportunity to love, remember it's Valentine's Day for those of you in Honduras. When there's an opportunity to love and to be gracious and to be kind and to be patient, we are so stuck in our ways that we don't let it happen. That we don't accept others, that we don't bring them in, we don't bring ourselves in. The whole thought of building your house on the rock is true, whether you build it on Jesus or you build it on resentment. Whatever you build your house on, it's so sturdy it's going to stay there, and that could be a very, very bad thing. See, if we just have our sin, we just have our pain, we just have our frustrations or our depression, we have the bad things, if we have those just slightly planted in sand, the first big storm, the first big wave of God's grace, that pain, that anger is going to be knocked down. And we're going to be able to come right into the party. We're going to be able to celebrate. We're going to come to our senses. We're going to be the prodigal son. We're going to come back to Jesus. That's what's going to happen. If our resentment and our pain, our frustration, our doubts, our worries, if those things are just planted at surface level, the first breath of God, the first breath of the Holy Spirit, those things are going to fall, and that's our hope. But then there are others. Our fears have been deeply planted and deeply rooted for years. And it's going to take something big. It's going to take something mighty. It's going to take something miraculous to get the house that you've built for yourself. That older brother, he spent years building up the resentment toward his brother, who now he refers to as this son of yours. He spent years building that up. And it's going to take something real big from the Father, a miracle to open his hardened heart and to knock down that pride, to knock down that frustration and that anger. So what are those moments and those times of anger in your life, those times of frustration? What are those times of doubt, those times of worry that you've built up? And how is God wanting to take you aside and say, hey, just come in. Just knock down that pride and build up a better house. Build up a sturdy house on me, on the rock, on Jesus, on my word that talks about love, that talks about kindness to others, that talks about passion and ferocity for the kingdom, bringing glory to the Lord. Build your house on those things. Don't build them on doubt or complaining or worrying. And I know it's easy for me to say, sitting tropical paradise island, my beach house, I see the ocean going as far as I can see it. It's easy. We're not slaving away, striving to rebuild our island or rebuild our country like you in Honduras are. But for those of you who are watching this and you're from Saipan, you remember YouTube. It was here before Victoria and I moved over here. But the devastation that still exists here, and now the pandemic that's shut down our tiny island, not allowing tourists to come, really putting a halt to our tourist economy. Those difficult things. Are we building up that resentment and saying, it's so frustrating that we can't have a job, or it's so frustrating that we can't do this, and we can't. And we forget to celebrate what God's doing. We forget to celebrate people coming home. We forget to celebrate how God saves people and gives people new life and a second chance and new hope. I want to read something quickly out of Galatians chapter 6 about bearing others' burdens, and this is how we can do it. This is how we can really help others. This is what the brother did not do. So let's look at this. Galatians chapter 6. It says, brothers, if anyone is caught in any, I love superlatives. Oftentimes they frustrate me because people are like, that never happens. Does it really? Maybe it rarely happens, but no. Here, brothers, if anyone is caught in any transgression, you who are spiritual should restore him in a spirit of gentleness. Keep watch on yourself, lest you be tempted too. Verse 2. Bear one another's burdens, and so fulfill the law of Christ. Verse 3. For if anyone thinks he is something, when he is nothing, he deceives himself. Verse 4. But let each one test his own work, and then his reason to boast will be in himself alone and not his neighbor. Verse 5. For each will have to bear his own load. Wow. Star that, highlight it, copy and paste it if you're on Bible Gateway, Galatians chapter 6. He just talked about in Galatians chapter 5 the fruits of the Spirit, that we need to be taking in the Spirit and producing love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. We need to be producing those things. And now he gets to Galatians chapter 6 when he talks about, for those of you who are spiritual, help someone else. But make sure that you don't become like the brother of Luke 15. If someone else is having a difficult time, if you see the brother of Luke 15, help them out, but make sure you don't become the brother. A lot of times we can gather together and we say, oh yeah, I'm reaching out to fellow Christians, or maybe we can call it discipleship, or maybe we can call it prayer meetings, but what do? We start complaining a lot. Philippians chapter 2 tells us not to do that. Philippians entirely just tells us not complain. We see then in Philippians 4, especially 4:13, where it talks about I can do all of this, or I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. What are those things? He talked about right before, to be content. I know what it's like to have nothing. I know what it's like to have a ton. See, the brother forgot, the older brother, the brother who stayed there, he forgot about Philippians 4:13, that I can do all of this. I can do all of being content. That's what I can do. And he said, no, I want my goat for my friends. This other son of yours stole the fatted calf. That was my fatted calf. He stole the ring. He stole the legacy. He stole. That was mine. He wasn't content. He built his house on something other than the rock of Jesus. He built it on the rock of anger. And then he didn't go into the party. He said, you know what? I'm protected enough right here. I'm going to just cry myself to sleep tonight out here, even though the Father went to him. So, as I wrap this up, maybe the Father's coming to you and saying, hey, party with someone else. They came back to me. There have been these other successes, these other champions, these other wins, these other accomplishments. For my glory, says the Father. Celebrate with them. Don't say, I'm not celebrating because woe is me, that my church is not thriving, that my family is not thriving, my job's not thriving, my country is not thriving. Poor me. Meanwhile, God is doing great things all over. And he says, celebrate, because you've been with me all along, and all that I have is yours. For those who are spiritual, reach out and help those who have any transgression. We need to make sure that we let's not be tempted, that we let's not build our beach house on frustration and anger, content and resentment. Instead, we need to be content in all things. We can do all of this. So this is our hope from our beach hut, our little beach house, condominium, whatever you want to call it, a little bachelor pad, a little studio apartment. I know it's tiny. But build your house on the rock so that when you think you're stuck, you can still go. We can still cross the island and go. We can still reach out here on our island. We're not stuck. This beach house is not stuck. It can help others. Maybe they want to be shielded from the sunlight. It's a 10-minute walk here. They want a little protection. This beach is bright. All the white coral on the ground. They're like, I just want to sit here and have a little picnic. The beach hut is not stuck. It's still doing things qualitatively, adding value to people's life. We made a logo of it that we hope to put on a shirt, sell, and raise money for clean water projects in developing countries around the world. Don't be stuck just because you're stuck. Bring God glory. So, for those of you in Honduras, we pray for you. That's why we did our 15-mile walk to raise awareness for the disaster there. We pray that you and your people are able to recover, that God gives you strength, that God gives you protection, and all that's going on. We know it must be crazy. We can't fathom it. If you want to see more videos, maybe more encouragement, we post regularly about spiritual things, about relationship. Go to the Pastor Matty Ice YouTube channel. And Victoria, what should they do?
Subscribe.
Hit that subscribe button. Don't be stuck just because you're stuck. All right, for those of you on the YouTube channel, we hope to see you next time. This is the Pastor Matty Ice channel. I'm Pastor Matt.
I'm Victoria.
Wherever you are in the world, stay chill and float on.